Now we're going to transition over into the NFL. We're going to go through the Week 3 recap. We're going to go over 4 games. Some big upsets in the league. 2 of the top dogs got knocked off this week. Yeah, First game is Chargers upset the Chiefs 30-24. And I mean, I said this a while back. Like, Chargers was one of my teams that I was excited to see and see if they could take that next step. It looks like they're serious.
Yeah. Justin Herbert really shined out. He answered back. Patrick Mahomes was 27 for 44, 260, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And that last interception cost him the game. And then Justin Herbert was 26 for 38, 281, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
And the Chiefs dominated not dominated. I mean, they led in total yards.
Mm-hmm.
They dominated in rushing. But the Chargers had the upper hand in passing. And they had the same exact yards per play. 5.8 yards per play. Chiefs had more first downs. Chiefs had a better third down efficiency. Chargers had the 1-for-1 on fourth down. So like you said, the interception is what sealed it for them. And the Chiefs had 2 fumbles lost and 2 interceptions. They had 2 fumbles. They lost both of them. They had 2 interceptions. So turnovers, like, if you want to be realistic, the Chiefs had 4 turnovers and still only lost by 6. So the Chiefs are still good.
Mm-hmm.
But turnovers will hurt you very bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on social media talking bad on the Chiefs. I wouldn't put a 1-2 start. I wouldn't make a 1-2 start count them out of the Super Bowl. They could still very well make the Super Bowl. You know, teams there in the regular season, teams there in the postseason, in the playoffs. 2 completely different teams. I mean, look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady, they lost 38-3 last year to the Saints. And then went and won the Super Bowl. So you can't really judge, especially this early. You can't really judge teams off of.
I mean, the Chiefs they're last in the division right now, and I guess that's where everybody's starting that conversation. But the team that they lost to this week is the team that they'll be competing for the division with, I think. Mm-hmm. Like the Raiders and the Broncos aren't going to last. Like, the Raiders are hot right now, but they're not going to. They'll fall off.
I think the Broncos will fall off first, but yeah, both of them.
Like, this division will flip.
Yeah, the bottom 2 will flip.
But that was that game. Like, I'm excited to see where Chargers, how far they can go. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Pat Mahomes, but I always like seeing the Chiefs get beat.
Mm-hmm.
Just so everybody don't keep that, the Chiefs can't lose.
Right.
Like, I just love seeing anybody beat them. I mean, they're like the Alabama of the NFL at this point. And then the next game, Bengals beat the Steelers 24-10. Big Ben's done.
Are they? They did?
And the Steelers, I didn't say the Steelers. Big Ben's done. Just should have hung it up last year.
I could see that. I could see that argument. I mean,
38 for 58, 2 interceptions. And like, this is the game that makes people think that the Bengals are for real. They're not for real.
Mm-mm.
The Bengals will not last long term this season. This is like the type of game they come out and win, and it makes everybody think that the Bengals are something they're not. They're not for real.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's really a doubt that going into this season it would be the Browns and the Ravens at the top two teams in the division. But yeah, I don't know. It's sort of the same as that game against it was the Washington versus New York. It's sort of like the bottom two tier teams playing, and I mean this was a lot greater margin between the victory, but it's the bottom two teams playing, and I don't know. I don't think that's the real Steelers team losing 24-10 to the Bengals, but I don't know. Still a lot of season to be played. We'll see.
I think it's more the Bengals didn't win this game. The Steelers gave it to them.
Yeah, 100%.
The next upset, and I don't really know if you would call it an upset. They had the same records, but I didn't expect. I expected that the Vikings would eventually have to bounce back and prove that they're not tanking or they don't suck. Mm-hmm. I didn't expect it for it to be against the Seahawks, but they have the same record. They're both 1-2, but they beat the Seahawks 30-17. And Kirk Cousins was very, very efficient. 30 for 38, 323 yards and 3 touchdowns. His usual targets. I mean, the rookie. Justin Jefferson's a rookie, right?
Right.
And Adam Thielen, we know about him in Minnesota.
Well, Justin Jefferson played 1 year last year. He's got a year under his belt. I think he's going to have a pretty good year pretty good season.
I didn't watch this game, but the score shocked me.
Yeah.
So.
But you got to think, too, the Seattle's only win came against Carson Wentz and the Colts, who nobody expected anything from. And Carson Wentz hasn't won a game since November of last year. So.
And the Titans bounced back against them.
Yeah, but see, that's a good Titans team. So does that right there, does that show that Titans team or that Cardinals team was that much better than the Titans and the Seahawks?
No, I just think the Titans got a bad game, first game.
That's fair.
I just think they didn't, which I can't say that they didn't. They went into it and got something they didn't expect because they're paid millions of dollars to game plan against who they play.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Cardinals just showed up and smacked them in the mouth, and they didn't know what to do. But the Titans are proof that one game don't define you. I mean, it's too early to get into is that team better than that team just because they beat this team that they lost to. Like, you have to look at that at the end of the year and see the whole picture. But
I feel like for the Seahawks, they could bounce back next week, and then if they bounce back next week, they could compete against the Rams the week after that on Thursday night. But
so I don't think they will. Like, at the 49ers, then the Rams come to town. I mean, you can bounce back against the Steelers, but I think they're going to take 4 losses in a row if you count the Titans. Yeah. Like, 49ers will probably win that game at home. The Rams are hot right now. We'll get into that later. Steelers is their next chance for a win, but I'm not going to say that because it's the NFL. All right, our last upset. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, the defending champs, get beat by 10 points by the Rams. Stafford is for real. Stafford goes to a team that is good and shows that he's still a top-notch quarterback.
Very much so, yes.
It never was Stafford, it was the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said it from the beginning, I'll say it again. I don't know. I don't want to put this out there right now. I don't know if I want to say it now or wait, because we're going to talk about that in a later episode.
Hey, you might as well. I mean, you got me.
If the Cardinals can keep going and not fall like some people, I don't think they will. Some people think they're just fake and that they'll fall off like the Raiders. But if the Cardinals can hold, I think it'll be a 3-way race between Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, and Matt Stafford for MVP. And if I had to pick, they will give it to Stafford because it's a better story.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion. But this was a hard fought game, and it wasn't that the Bucs gave the game away.
No,
the Rams took it.
Especially not the Bucs offense. It was mainly the Rams defense that decided the game. I mean, Tom Brady led the Bucs in rushing yards, so.
And I was very shocked. I looked up some stats earlier, and it said teams that allow opposing passing yards given up, or you know what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
The worst pass defenses in the league. It's like opposing passing yards allowed. The Bucs are the worst in the league. And I mean, they played the Cowboys that look hot. The Falcons put up a bunch of yards against them in garbage time when the game was already over. They came back and made it 48-25. And then now this game against the Rams. That just sort of shocked me. I mean, and a lot will change in it's just 3 weeks. But 3 weeks in, the Bucs are giving up the most passing yards in the league.
Yeah, but I feel like through these 3 weeks, I feel like the only team that shows the potential to be able to put up the most passing yards against the Bucs is the Rams, who they just played.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely teams that are going to dominate you more on the passing side than the running side, but it just shocked me. And I guess it shouldn't. I guess there's a reason why they're trying to. Another piece of news that came out today. There's a reason why they're trying to bring in Sherman. They obviously don't feel great about their secondary if they're trying to get him. So it makes sense, but it just sort of shocked me that it was them that is at the bottom.
And I mean, like I said earlier, you can't put out the Bucs offense because Tom Brady threw for 432 yards. He only had 1 touchdown. That's whatever, but it was just a running game. I mean, you can't win if you don't have a running game. And I mean, like I said, Tom Brady led the team in rushing yards with 14.
Yeah.
So.
All right, next segment.